Hello everybody, it is 1:57, basically 2 p.m. I found a few cow patties walking around at Diamond Point. Mom's total bitch. She got hangry, so she decided to, start mouthing off to everybody, bringing the whole thing of morale down. Anyways, but we're up here now, having a good old time. Thinking about the one that I hurt. It's like, I'm going to always be after you. I'm always going to be going for you. I'm always going to try and hurt you. And I'm like, can you find somebody else to be obsessed with, please? Like, there's a reason why that other guy decided to leave your ass. If you're going to constantly do shit like this. I have a good memory of you, and you are ruining so much of it by being a nice girl. You've since tainted a lot of what's gone on. Granted, it's not like everything was all rosy to begin with. The drugging, the killing, the rape. Wears a person's soul down. You're highly manipulative. And I hope you find help. I do. But I never intended to break anybody's hearts. It was never my intention to hurt. But that's what I did. That's what I have to live with. Unfortunately, I don't really have much of an option to change anything. And I can keep apologizing and apologizing. But for those who will accept the apology, I've already apologized. For those who won't, get bent. Not the nicest way to say things, but yeah, I'd give zero fucks about you. If anything, at this point, you're going after a vendetta. And at the end of it, you will not feel good. Most likely. You'll feel good for a moment. You got whatever it is that you came for. And then you realize that it doesn't take away the pain. Sure. Like, for the next couple of days, I did it. Maybe even a few months. And then it slowly dawns on you that it didn't change what happened. It didn't do anything. The situation still happened. People still said what they said. I'm kind of done with the whole, this nature of shit. Truthfully, feels like everybody has their own agenda, which is, unfortunate. Yeah, I suppose I should start heading back. There's really nothing out here as far as I can tell. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think, even with all the cow patties and wood around here, that there's really going to be any mushrooms. I don't really think that Arizona around here is really the mushroom place to be, so to speak. What? The who, what, where, when, why? Well, let's get into 2016. 2016 decided to destroy my head under the guise that over time I'll be able to redo things or whatever the fuck it really was. They ended up taking my ideas and then basically decided to try and kill me, and when it didn't work, they basically followed me around. 2017 and I went and set the world afire. And it was fucking something, man. And then she started drugging me. She started getting angry if I even looked at anything that wasn't her in any way, shape, or form. And she started poisoning me. If I can't have you, no one can have you. 2016 was basically the same way. Then there's the East Coast people that kind of went down the same path too. Truthfully, I tend to apparently attract individuals that are, oh my gosh, mushrooms! Hey, I found mushrooms. Cool. Let's take a picture. Alright. Where is my picture stuff? There it is. Is it the camera icon? Gee, I wonder. Alright. That's cool. Nice. Alright. Let's poke it with a stick. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna poke these with a stick. Ooh. Oh yeah, those are real fucking mushrooms. And they're old too. I don't know what they are though. They're very dry. I'm not gonna eat those. But hey, I finally found mushrooms. That's wonderful. Isn't that just neat? Yeah. Oh no, I almost left my water over here. Technically could be a marker. Wow, would y'all look at that? Alright. Yep. What am I thinking about? Well, I kind of just want to start fresh with everybody. You know, I don't want to perpetuate the past, as it were. Because clearly the past is, you know, in the past. I can't change it. I can't do anything about it. And, I'm stuck with it. You know what I mean? That's just how that goes. I wish I could say that I'm able to just immediately change, say that I love you and I do this and this and this, and the fact of the matter is that I think we all kind of hate each other right now. You know, to a degree, we all are a little skeptical. We are all a little miffed, so to speak, over the events that have transpired. More mushrooms! Look at that! Yay! I'm gonna get a picture of this. No, don't fall, water. I didn't say you could fall. Here, I'll prop you up. Alright, you got this shit. You can do it. Is it mushrooms? It could be mushrooms. I'm honestly not sure. But, let's see if we can't zoom in just a little bit here. Nah, it's too much. Alright. Cool. Very neat. So, it would appear as though these, like, lower areas are where to go. The lower I've been getting here seems to have helped keep the humidity around, which is nice, I must say. Yes, indeedy do. What's in there? Something. I don't want to get into it. Not for me. This is a workout. I love it. Searching around for things, feeling like I got shit going on. It's a nice little exercise boost. Got to see some cool stuff. Not be around my parents for a little bit, talk around to myself in some nature. If I could, I'd be fucking naked walking around right now, truthfully. But that's probably not a good idea. Yeah, you know, I've always wanted to fuck someone in the woods, truthfully. It's like, how more natural can you get? But then I always go, but there are a lot of shit in the woods. There's bugs, there's, like, you never know, right? I don't know. You pick your favorite spot, you go for it, you come back. The whole point is to have fun and excitement, you know? In life, if you're not gonna try a little something every once in a while, then what's the point? I know, says the guy that does absolutely fucking nothing. I'm incredibly terrified of the people that are following me right now. There's a group of you that really want me to succeed, and then there are multiple people that wish to see me dead. Or get hurt in some way. So, you know, I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings, lead anybody on. I'm just afraid of both getting hurt and being vulnerable, but also of the individuals that are around. What about her? Like, she's got her own fucking power. People have power, man. You'd be surprised. How far am I from the road? Not that far. I bet you they don't even know where I am. I kind of like that. It's not scary at all. It's liberating as fuck. Not to have to give a shit at all about anybody else but myself. And I can't even care about myself that much. So, I'm just going downhill with the water. Yeah, I'm not seeing any cow patties or anything. I think I'm gonna head on back. Going further doesn't seem like a good idea right now. Although there is, I mean, it's just down the way. It's only like 50 feet really here. It might be something, you know? Yeah, but that's 50 feet downhill. Remember, it takes twice as long to go uphill and you're spending 4 times the energy. Yeah, I gotcha. Keep that in mind. Seem to be following the tracks of some sort of animal that came down through here at one point or another. It's like, do you think she'll actually try and hurt you? Yes. Not just the stand, but also the other one I heard. Which I would love to say that we had good times and everything was fine. But we did have good times, but not everything was fine. And I got totally destroyed. So it's just not worth it to me, personally. Try and perpetuate that. I know. Like, if it wasn't for 2017, I probably would have recovered faster with my brain. But she drugged, like, here's the thing. She drugged me, but there were certain drugs I asked to take. And she put in supplements. And, you know, at the time, I was still half convinced that it wasn't real, and people weren't there, and this stuff wasn't happening. Half convinced the other way as well, you know what I mean? Oh my gosh, if there was a cow patty around here, I can only imagine. It is like the perfect temperature, lots of humidity. I'm on mushrooms, where you at, boy? Of course, that could just be my humidity. Otherwise known as sweat. Whew. Yeah, I'm just gonna take a small breather. Got some more flat black quartz. Time to take off the old sweater. I mean, I did find some mushrooms. I did. I have no idea what they were. They were fucking orange. That's what they were. They look kind of like Liberty caps, honestly, if they were orange. But, you know me, not really into the whole, like, taking a chance on dying with poisonous mushrooms. So I'm really just looking for specific things. Granted, I don't really actually even know what they look like. I really should have studied them a lot more if I was going to go searching for them. I gotta think about it. Alright. I will find somebody. I'll find my one man. That's kind of how that goes. Take off my hearing aids. Sweating too much. What do you think is in store for the future? Well, apparently, I was getting that Stan got killed by somebody, which I really didn't want that to be happening. You know? I'm still wondering if that's true or if they're just fucking trying to scare me or something like that. 'Cause, yeah. Same goes for, like, I'm gonna kill you, you know, stocking stuffers or severed foot and all this sort of stuff. And I'm like, what did I do to you? That means that you can kill me? Like, do you realize how bad, like, of a thing I need to do for your revenge to be that bad? I don't know. What am I thinking? There's really nothing here and I should go back. This just keeps going more and more downhill. So it's time to make it to the road. Besides, I found some mushrooms. Didn't pick them, but I found them. Found some. 2 examples. I actually don't know what that was on the tree. It could have been mushrooms, it could have been something else. Like dead moss or something, I don't really know. Alright. Oh yeah, getting them stair steps in. Glutes, glutes, glutes. Ah, fuck. Ah, man. Cardio, cardio, cardio. How come I don't like Drake? Because his music is beige at best, and absolutely nothing to me at worst, with some noise. Sure, he might be a nice guy, but doesn't mean I have to like his music. Because I started believing I was God, instead of believing in the truth. We are all gods. We just need a little help getting to that point. So we're no longer robots, we are no longer animals, but we are the amalgamation of the two. Shit. Alright. There's the road over there. Where's my getaway? Alright. She goes, I'll follow you. You ruined me. You broke my heart. I'm gonna break yours and break everything about you. I don't really know what to say about that. I mean, have you ever had somebody just dedicate their time to ruining your life? Or trying to? You ever think about that? Harsh shit, man. Real harsh shit. Oh, man. Oh, should not have had that burger, fries, and shake. Oh. Whew. I really traveled a good distance there. Nice. Proud of myself. Whew. That was a hike, man. Alright. Alright, I have to cut it off here. I'm joining up with them soon. Alright, bye-bye. Oh, gotta pause, unpause. When did this? There we go. So, what time is it? It's 7:20 p.m., January 19th, 2019. I am back home in my dark, dungeony office room that is basically mountain blue with green on the bottom. It's not very terribly great. Shit. You know, I've got some this is, So, this is to the guy that she hurt, because she used you. I think that's bullshit. I do. I mean, look, I feel like I was used by her too, and honestly, at this point, didn't even want to show back up, if that makes sense. Like, I was done, but people didn't want me to be done. Apparently, she was one of those people. I'm sorry that she used you. I'm sorry that I think I might have told her to do it, which is the fucked up thing. Which makes me fucking really annoyed by myself. So bad, man. And I'm sorry that you got hurt. I really am. You never should have been in hurt like that, ever. You don't deserve that. You never deserve that. You know? You deserved... You're a good person. You deserve someone for yourself that is good and isn't going to treat you like that. So I just, I wanted to apologize sincerely that this drama has gone down. Fucking, if I could, I'd love to be neutral at this point and just allow you guys to do what you want to do. To be able to leave me out of it. Be like Sweden. That way I can just, carry on. Sweden, I salute you for letting us go through this and, allowing all of the drama to unfold and not trying to take sides. I do. Because personally, honestly, a lot of information was, you didn't know, nobody knew. I hid it from people. I hid the abuse, I hid the poisoning, I hid everything from everybody. because I was a man and I can take it, and this is just part of the, the test. But that's really not what was happening, as I've found it to be now. I don't really have much of an ability to say yes or no as to what I feel. I don't want to get back together with you. Like, truthfully, I don't. 2017 and the various 2017s, which is terrible to say, that I fucking decided that I was going to do that to so many people. It just kills me, honestly, that I let it continue to keep escalating and escalating until it got to this point. I'm terribly sorry that I caused all of this to happen. For all of this drama, for all of everything that has gone down. That is one of the reasons why I left, because there was no way for me to know what was actually happening, and I needed to take a fucking step back and be able to actually think about it. I paint her in this incredibly negative light, but there were a lot of things that she was doing because I asked her to. There are a lot of things she was doing because she had her own traumas and issues. And I can understand that now, but I just want to work on moving forward together with everybody. I don't want to have everybody get involved into this drama anymore. It's no longer worth it. I can't stop you from loving me. I can't. You say that you do. I say that you need to find somebody else, honestly. But you did. And then you still came back here, and so I don't have anything really when it comes down to that. Like, I don't like myself enough to be able to be in a relationship. It's just apparent that I can even hardly stand certain things. I'm working on it. I am, but I don't know if you honestly should be in one, truthfully. That's my 2 cents. Like, you probably have your own PTSD and issues that are going on and that you need to work on, and yeah. Hell. If I could go live in Sweden and just hang out and let this all blow over, that's what I would do. It's not to go and have a grand old time, friendo. It's to make a pass or anything like that. I'm more along the lines of just needing a friend to cry on. Friend's shoulder to cry on about all of this. And unfortunately, all of it is secretive bullshit. So that means, in reality, I can't cry to anybody. So, Sweden, like I said, I salute you. China, Japan, I salute you. Although you did steal a lot of my shit. Not happy about that. Yeah, but you just spoke about it, and there's nothing... You know exactly what I'm talking about. But I digress. I was just getting jaded, man. Just straight up jaded. Oh, they're successful with my idea. I wanted to be successful with my idea. I can't handle someone else's success.
Even if it is my idea and I help them do it, nobody will know that it's me, and that's not that, like the ego crept in, man. My ego got too damn big. I became a fucking monster. I did. I got so wrapped up in the idea of saving the world and the idea of creating something that honestly I thought was a great thing. But it's very clear to me now, after taking a step away, reflecting back on both my actions and my thoughts and everything else that was going on at the time, that yes, while we did do things, we did create a dialogue, we did all these wonderful, some wonderful things, we also did create all these terrible things, and I, as reluctant as I am to say it, as the leader of this, I fucked up. I hurt the mission. I didn't do what was right, and I let everybody down. I made everything worse. I made people's lives suffer. I made people's love. As a person who understands how bad it is, that hurt, I so easily use this wickedly hot iron to strike and strike again against you. And it was wrong. It was never okay, and I can never apologize enough. I can't even accept another person's forgiveness on this because I need to remember this for the rest of my life. It has to be burned into me. This is something that I never should have done. I created something that should not have been created. Well, was once a beautiful seed with roots growing and spreading this wonderful, wonderful flower. Or whatever you really want it to be. Trees, whatever, the imagery is the same. I went and dug it up out of the ground, stomped all over it, stomped it. And now I'm trying my best to perform triage on the very thing I tried to destroy. Trying to keep it alive, and I'm wondering if whether or not it's even worth it. Truthfully, I have no idea. I know the idea to save the world is a good and just cause. I know that means that there are a lot of somewhat morally and ethically questionable things that will be done to do that. And I also know that there are things and laws that will need to be broken. And I deluded myself into thinking that it was all okay. But once you step across a line, it's real hard to not do it again. It's real hard. And that's what I'm working on. And that's what I believe I'll be talking about tonight with everybody. I hope this goes out to everyone beforehand. Personally, I do. I want you all to know that I do love you. I do. And I want you to be the best you can ever possibly be. And I want you to go and create amazing, wonderful things and be able to spread the love and acceptance throughout the world that we need, and the proper information and tools and critical thinking for both our children and our current generation and past generations, because we all need to come together as one to work towards the common goal of just creating a better future before we can start creating this otherworldly thing like going out into the heavens and spreading, or fixing the entire ecosystem, or a singularity event where we become cyborgs, which I, for one, love the idea of. Like, I want some robotic bits. Fucking robot heart? Are you kidding me? Won't even have to deal with it. Robot kidneys? Fuck yeah. Gallbladder, like, get rid of all my fucking organs as far as I'm concerned. They're failure points. And very difficult to replace. You know what I mean? But I digress. I wish the best for each and every one of you. Each and every one of you I consider to be a friend, and I consider you to be a real true ally in the fight for the betterment of mankind. And that's all I can ever hope for you. That's all I can ever ask of myself, like just to be able to consider you friends. I know you don't. I know that. But right now, that's where I'm at. You know what I mean? I'd so desperately love to tell each and every one of you anything that you need to hear to be able to continue forward and win at life in whatever way it is. But I think we all know that I need to first help myself before I can start helping others. I still have my own deep, dark demons that need to be explored. EMDR therapy has the potential for doing things, but it remains to be seen, and truthfully, without psychedelics, I don't see it ever really sticking. It might be another 10%er therapy, where 10% out of 90, 10% out of 100% of the people that you as a therapist talk to and try and give CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, or diametric, or whatever the fuck it's called, therapy, or whatever, 10% will get better as a result. The vast majority will simply go over and over and over, constantly just trying to vent out their frustrations of the week. And that's basically what happened with Ernie once I got to the point where I learned as much as I could to be able to work in the environment that I was in. My mom is who she is and severely limits my ability to proceed in a lot of cases. And I'm working on that. It's tough. It is tough. But it's doable. And that's what gives me hope on that. Slowly, day by day, it gets better. There are days where I fail and I feel like I slip back and I get worse, like that Friday night. I realize that I have a responsibility to everybody. I do. I shouldn't discount you just because I went through something that I created. It is my fault. It is not something that should have happened. And I could never thank those of you enough for sticking around through my dark times and my good. And my extremely manic times that were more than likely drug-fueled, unfortunately. Drugs that I more than likely, although I can't remember doing it, I more than likely asked for people to give me. And I shouldn't have done that. And I apologize deeply for the way I acted while I was on those incorrect medications. They were not for me. They were not used appropriately or in a responsible manner. And I made everybody around me suffer as a result. And I caused lasting damage not to just you, but everyone and everything. Felt like radiation treatment. Sure, it shrank the tumor and probably even got rid of most of it. But you can tell that anybody that goes through radiation treatment, they're not feeling good afterwards. Which is why for Simone Gertz, I have to say, I applaud your bravery. You are incredible. You deserve to have true success. You deserve to have this beaten into submission, this cancer that plagues you. You do really good work for the world. And I think that you've been dealt the worst hand I could possibly imagine. I have no idea what to do to be able to make it up. But I'll be trying my best every day. To the one that used and abused both of us, I do not control you, and I do not deign to tell you what to do, because honestly, that time has come and gone. But I would love to suggest for you to just ignore me if you can, or I don't know, honestly. I don't know. I want you to get better, and I want the best for you as well. want you to treat your problems and be able to get better as a person and human being. And who knows? You know, maybe you're right. Maybe we do get together. I doubt that that will happen at this point. But life is full of amazing possibilities. And it's up to you to find the path that gets you to them. I want to help out with everything that's going on with everybody, but I'm unable to do that. And it makes me feel worthless. It makes me feel impotent. It makes me feel useless. All I have are my words, and I used to have love to give, but I feel like I don't even have that. And even my words are faltering. My mind slowly being taken away from me. Yeah, I'm gonna end it here. Hey, so, wanted to say this because you brought up like ulcerative colitis ads on my shit. I have a very good gut microbiome right now, and if you were to somehow acquire my bacterial gut microbiome and were to eat it and ingest it, it might help that issue that you're having. I'm not going to say it will cure anything, but there is some anecdotal, very small sample size study where I did see this guy who is a quote-unquote biohacker or whatever, where his friend had a very good stomach, and basically he just collected his fecal matter and gave it, ingested it in these capsules. He said that there was a little bit of bitterness, but if, like that's to be expected. Your poop is going to be bitter because of the acidity in it. And he apparently got good results on his stomach. He had less issues with his stomach afterwards. So if you wanted to literally eat my shit, that's something you can do, but I would suggest instead that you find a friend that has a very good stomach and has no issues or no known issues with any sort of microbiome issues, To those of you that are wishing to find relief to some of your stomach issues, I know this is a bit extreme, but it's actually easier and cheaper than it would be to do the medical treatment of a fecal matter transplant, which is basically what they're going after. This is basically the same version, you're just swallowing pills. They just, I think, insert it through your colon, and it costs a lot of money, and you might be or may not be under anesthesia. To those of you who don't mind eating ass, this is basically not a big deal to you. If anything, it's fine. To those of you that are very disgusted, this could still help you. There are ways to try and mitigate the flavor, but you can put it into the capsule and then cover it with another larger capsule, so that way you don't have any potential bitterness or anything else, or something else that will dissolve, like even be a sugar coating, literal sugar coating of it, and swallow that, and it could potentially help you a lot. Try to understand that is not always easy to acquire, but it is a possibility for people to do. And if you are having issues with your, if you're having cancer things as well, I believe that there are certain bacteria that can possibly help people with that issue. I believe, like, for instance, people that have higher rates of colorectal cancer would probably benefit from a fecal matter transplant because of an individual has a very low history of that in their family and everything like that. It would more than likely help, at least somewhat. It's not going to get rid of I would say, hypothesis here, at most, what I'm willing to say is it would potentially reduce the percentage of risk to having those cancers, which, combined with good exercise, and a few medications, you might never have the issue. I'm a personal believer in a lot of the gut microbiomes playing a huge role in a lot of different systems in our body. So yeah, like, if you can find the healthiest individual that you can think of, which, if it's not you, if you're having, that's the thing, like, you could literally be very healthy, but you can still have a bad microgut biome in some cases because you have a poor, your mother and father just didn't have a good one to begin with either, and then you didn't play all that much in the dirt or the mud, or you didn't do this or that, and it suddenly changes how that biome grows over time. And I would definitely suggest doing that if you're having those issues, because it's ridiculously expensive to look into a fecal matter transplant. It is not usually covered by insurance unless you have real, like, proof, and even then, like, it's, expensive, unless you have really amazing insurance. But, the people that really need the actual help, this is where that comes into play. You know what I mean? This is where having somebody like that to help can help you. I don't really know how you'd ever get any of my shit, because I literally never shit, usually, outside of this house. It's extremely rare. And you're not getting watery. We're talking about, like, actual, some matter there. So, just a thought, I guess, if you need help with that. More than likely, I wouldn't doubt that you're on antibacterials or something. If you are, those are wreaking havoc with with that biome. If there's something else, then there's something else. If you're going through radiation and chemo, that will hurt your immune system, and your microbiome. So, just, that's the thing. Treatments from medical professionals are just a more directed version of poison, and Western medicine, while very good in certain cases at treating these things, they also damage other areas of the body, which can lead to more problems in the future. I believe that, certain things like the microbiome take a huge hit. Your immune system, when it gets compromised, you do less, So if you were to go through this and inject yourself with like your own, or somehow get your own version of antibodies to be able to fight while you're undergoing this treatment, and you're able to, like, you have to go full bore on not just treatment, but in supportive treatment, alternative supportive treatment. Because if you don't, then you lessen the likelihood of you succeeding. But you gotta have the money, you gotta have the time, you gotta have the energy, you gotta do all of that. And I don't see how one person could ever do that. They need help, you know what I mean? Like, you're probably gonna be just wiped. I mean, anybody that goes through anything, like even immunotherapy for cancer is draining on your body, is very taxing, because you're basically fighting off an infection now. Your body goes into fighting off an infection mode. You need food, you need water, you need rest. You have to take it easy, So it just becomes like a whole extra step on top of that, Anyways, my 2 cents. So this is going to be very damning to me and not to anybody else, if that makes sense. This is going to be hard to hear, maybe? I don't know, honestly speaking. Yeah, I'm starting to remember stuff from 2017. 2017 was a blank year for me. Truthfully. Like, the entire year is just scrubbed from my memory like it never fucking happened, it seems like. Anyways. So, what do I say? Do I come out with it? Just say it? Do I try and build context before I say it? Like, how do you admit something? That's a strange thing to think about. Yeah? Yeah? Come here. Wanna meow? Okay. Did you want to go outside then? Yeah? What? I'm gonna have to pause this. You're a little bit of an older kitty. You're probably close to 10, maybe older years old. You got all the life in you, though. You're just slow. You used to be an outdoor cat for a while, so you got a lot of injuries, I'm sure. Don't you still love me? Although you rarely like to come. You were so affectionate in the beginning, and then now you're just like, whatever. You know what? Fuck it. I'll come to you when I want to. As cats tend to do. Oh. I know, you lead all up to this and the cat distracts you. Well, the cat needs attention, man. Cat don't want scratches. And I want to give him scratches. Yeah, he was debating whether or not he wanted to come over here. Luckily, he doesn't have to know how terrible I feel. Anyways. So, 2017 turned into something that it shouldn't have turned into. And you're distracting me. You are. You don't He's like, this is my spot. Alright. But I can still grab this. And you can still stay there. So, I said it on this earlier. I don't know how much I can say and what I can and can't say. But to build context, because I will build context to this. After 2016 and my mini stroke, I should have went to the ER after it happened, but I didn't. And then other subsequent injuries to my head that were either planned or not planned. Seriously, like I either planned for somebody to literally kill me and then revive me, or this whole and here's the thing. I don't remember. I have a vague recollection of asking for that. However, during 2017, and this is what I should say, up until I was trying to order people to do certain despicable things, I really didn't even believe any of this was actually going on, and it was just a coincidence. And there were just strange things that were happening over and over and over again. And hell, they had to convince me earlier this year that this was still an actual thing. And I'm choosing to go with it because it's easier. It's still difficult to really grasp I'm kind of dodging everything. So, suffice it to say, the drugging that I so claimed she did. I have vague recollections of me asking people to give me certain things, either in my supplements or whatever it was. And, really I shouldn't have, because at the time I didn't know that it was actually happening, because I was still under the impression that it wasn't real to a degree for a good long time there. It's not an excuse, but I did ask for specific, I don't really remember, but I do remember asking for people to give me, through the supplements, possible certain drugs. Well, those were incorrectly used. And it turns out some of them were very damaging to my brain and my body. They weren't just supplements, there was stuff inside the supplements. And as a result, I continued to spiral, getting worse, and utilizing these I don't really remember. I'm sure methamphetamine was in there. More than likely it was Adderall, or Vyvanse or something like that, along with other stuff that was probably in there. And they were stuff I never should have asked for. And they made me very much go insane. They increased my ego, made me... I can't blame it all on the drugs. Because quite frankly, yes, they helped facilitate the insanity and the chaos and my ego and all the other shitty, terrible things I kept thinking. And made me want to lash out more and more and more. To the guy that... So I believe when I decided to leave and go to the mental health facility, that was when I asked her to try and find somebody else. Try and get over me. Try not to be obsessed about me. Along with, more than likely, there were other reasons, but I can't quite remember them. So, anyways, the point is that she never should have done what she did to you. I never should have, because I feel like I ordered her. I ordered her to go and find somebody else that she could love and accept her and all that. Along with, more than likely, other things and being involved. And she hurt you. And ultimately, while I don't control her actions, I set forth that motion. And I'm so sorry. I really am. It never should. It never should have happened. You got used, and that's just wrong. I'm sorry, man. I really am. Like, I don't know what to say about it, and I really hope that you can find it in your heart to someday forgive me. Because, like, she was just waiting. That's kind of how that goes. And it never should have happened. And I never should have been on those medications. I'm going to put that in quotation mark because there were actual legitimate medications. It's just they weren't being used properly. They were being abused. They were not making me in the right mind. And I started getting jaded and jealous about all these ideas that I saw happening in front of me. Like, oh, that person took my idea. I wanted to do that. I wanted to get the recognition and fame and all that. And quite frankly, my ego got inflated and I just became a tyrant. A total fucking dick. Really did. And the seed that I decided to grow, the idea of trying to save the world, well, it had started to blossom, and I just stepped all over it, trampled on it, after I dug it up, got rid of its roots. And now I feel like I stated it earlier, I feel like I'm doing triage. I feel like I'm trying to make that flower, transfer it into a new place and try and get it to grow again. And I feel like I'm failing. I failed everybody. I did. I let my ego get in front of me. I let my anger and my own personal issues and insecurities basically destroy what was. We are all, I feel like, angry at this situation, and I'm the one that has created it. And that was never my intention. It was never my intention to hurt and do that. But that's what I did. And so I need to own up to it. There was the orders for so many things. and I vaguely remember them, and I don't. That's another reason why I'm not condemning her. She did basically, I feel like, what I told her to do. And unfortunately, she was listening to a terrible person. She was. And that person was me. And, I did it not just to her, but I did it to so many others. And now I'm claiming that you guys all hurt me and all this. And the thing is that I don't. Okay, I believe it's real now. At the time, it was all incredibly scary. It was all incredibly me trying to avoid these coincidences, these things that were happening, and just not wanting to believe any of it, truthfully. And I let everybody down. I did. I truly did. I created a situation that was just dumb and untenable and just never should have been the case. And so yes, when I say I want to repair and I want to have everybody work together, like that's my seed. I want to try and get the world to be a better place. I want us all to work together to do that. To create ideas, to create media, to do everything possible to really make it work. And I just blew it all up. That's really what happened. So she's not at fault. It's really my fault. It is. It's completely my fault. There were definitely things that I shouldn't have asked for. There were definitely things I should have never have done. And yeah, it's something I need to burn into my mind. It's something that I can't let myself forget. I may be able to someday forgive myself. Right now I can't. But yeah, I need to remember it because I don't ever want to have it happen again, quite frankly. I just destroyed my mind and my body, and I kept fucking it up over and over and over. I mean, don't get me wrong, sure, there were flashes of brilliance. They were evil brilliance, but brilliance nonetheless. And I realized while I was on Friday night alone by myself, talking, but not really alone, because you never can be alone in this situation, can you? I don't know. But I realized that although I say I don't want to be a leader, I am one. And I have a responsibility to make this right, and I shouldn't fuck it up, like you guys also want to trust me and make this work. I feel some of you do, some of you don't, some of you are feeling like you've been manipulated, and as a person that knows how bad it can hurt to be abused. I fucking just decided to hurt everybody so easily. It didn't even cross my mind. It's shameful. It really is. I decided to just keep hitting and hitting and hitting over and over boundaries and triggers and any other thing that you could possibly imagine. It's just, it wasn't good. So yes, context. She's not evil. You're not evil. I'm fairly evil. I'm working on it. I got my own demons that I need to fucking work on. Shit from the past that only comes up when I get completely alone, it feels like. I'm stuck only with my thoughts. And I can't look at you guys. I really can't. It's just bad. I feel ashamed. I do. I feel very ashamed of myself for doing that and creating something ridiculous. Because no one should have been going through that. No one should have had those choices to make, and nobody really should have been egged on to do the things they did. I created a monster out of people, and I used and abused them. And I'm sorry. And I all I can say is that I truly want you and everybody in this situation to do well, to find love and happiness in their life, to be able to help others. You know, I don't want this image of me trying to manipulate everybody to be fat. And yes, I did play games. I'll admit to that. I did. Truthfully, I thought I was running for my life in a lot of situations. So yeah, I played games because I thought if I didn't, I would die. Sweden, I'm so fucking glad you remain neutral for a lot of this. Truthfully. There's a lot more to this that just is just me. And they know more than I do, truthfully. So there's no need for division, no need for any of that, and I can completely understand if you want me out and you don't want me to do this, and you don't want me to be your leader. Because quite frankly, I'm not very good leadership material right now. You guys deserve all the happiness and love that you can handle in your life. Every one of you. You know? And I stomped all over you guys. And I mean, some of you truthfully wanted that. But I wasn't doing it for the right reasons. And I wasn't doing it in the right way. And I wasn't really making this a good thing. I have a responsibility here. I don't want to fuck this up. I don't want to make anybody not happy, but angry. I don't know why I confused the two. Maybe because they're so similar to me. I can be happy, I can be angry, like that. I mean, I said it a little better earlier, but yeah, like I created this situation, and it shouldn't have happened. So it's really my fault. I can understand why some of you feel the need to try and distance yourself from this. Truthfully, I need to work on myself. 2018 was me more or less just getting away from the situation and trying to figure out what it was I was doing wrong. I shouldn't say more or less. It was another reason, like, why am I doing this? Why am I hurting everybody? Why am I, what is going on? What am I doing wrong? So, I had to ask myself some big questions. I have to own up to a lot of shit that I decided to do. It just wasn't right. And so I apologize wholeheartedly. Truthfully, I honestly just want to go over to Sweden's place and just fucking lay low until all this blows over. Said that earlier too. But it's true. Like, I really just, I would love to just hide from everybody. But, you're gonna make mistakes, And if you're gonna be, in my mind, a good friend, a good person, you have to be able to own up to what you've done. Unfortunately, for me, I've forgotten many things, so many things, that I have very mixed feelings about what was going on for 2017. Like, there was definitely stuff that I felt like was done to me, but at the same time, I'm very well aware that I had this almost separate personality to myself that just more or less created a problem. And I just created more different personalities and pretending like it was all for some story when it was just, I couldn't handle it. So many fucking issues, man, that just kept creeping up. Not just for my own self, but when I think about the others, and at the time I really was going and diving through the astral plane and talking to people and trying to find others that were like myself, this negative, boiling mass of issues. And I found a lot of terrible people in the world. And I took on even some of their own fucking issues and ideas and mimicked them and created even more problems. And I can say that, yeah, I meant to do that to expose people to these abusers and stuff, but at the same time, in doing so and doing that, I didn't do it the right way. I just decided to hurt people with it, Just, it was wrong. This is straight up wrong. And I claim to be on the righteous side and have all the great answers and all of this. And, here's what life's answers usually are to me. Life is what you make of it. Whatever your meaning to life is. There is no ultimate meaning for everybody outside of live until you die. That's it. Other than that, it's, do I want to help the world? Do I want to do this? Do I want to do that? What gives me joy, What meaning and purpose do I want in this life? What kind of an impact do I want to have? Because ultimately, while no one will remember you in 1,000 years from now, your actions will inspire enough people that in 1,000 years from now, we might have an entirely different society. We should. If we didn't, it would be fucked. But what I'm trying to say is bringing forth those good actions, bringing forth a lot of those, bringing togetherness, acceptance, trusting, and love back into society in general. And 1,000 years from now, could you imagine generations growing up with those positive enforcements, and role models, and everything else spreading over and over and over? The next generation expands and goes to their kids and their kids, and it just goes on. And you have done what everybody says is impossible. You've changed the future for the better. At least those are my thoughts. And all it takes is small actions every day. Small actions. And I couldn't even manage that shit, I feel like. Just anybody that cared for me, I just fucking pushed away, and abused and hurt, and yeah. Made a complete fool of myself. Straight up. Just a complete fool. And I got wrapped up in my own ego, thinking I was God, and I was this, and I was that, and so many other things, and I controlled the universe because these things were happening. Oh, my goodness. Oh, fucking shit. That's cringy for me. Because it had been not since I was a child, a very young child, did I start the whole... And I was on certain medications then, too. Again, with the amphetamines, which this is a common trait for certain individuals with psychosis, too. But, yes, I was given ADHD medication of some kind when I was a kid. I was still in first grade or something. That's why. I was disruptive in class because I like to shake my hearing aids around and not fucking listen to an 80-year-old. I don't know. It was like, you're very smart, but you don't listen to me, and I don't like that, and so you need... So yeah, actions cause consequences. I was a very rambunctious child. But the point is that where was I going with that? Shit, I had something. I did take my night medicine, which slows down my thought process. Truthfully, it really does. Yeah. Shit. Let's go back. Rewind. If you've ever lost your thought process, this is how I tend to try and find it again. If I can remember the last sentence or whatever it was that I was thinking about, and then follow along the train of thought, eventually I get back to the same thing. It works sometimes. Not all the time, but it helps. But I can't even remember what my previous thought was. Something about me going to school. What was my thought process? Right. So I was given ADHD medication when I was young. And, I started the whole psychosis phase, honestly. I did. It was bad for me. And if I were to use the idea of like using them correctly might be beneficial to me in some instances. I would never consider myself a person that it would be a good idea to be on them all the time, ever. And especially not past a certain amount of whatever milligram. Because they had me on a very high dose as a kid. I was very hyperactive. I want to run around. I don't want to sit here fucking listen to the... What are you talking about? Something with your work? I don't give a fuck, Dad. I mean, it's true, though. It's like, I want to eat. I want to fucking play around in the damn thing. And I don't want to fucking talk about it. So... But yeah, no, they gave me that, and I went off the whole another deep end. You know, I went to, I am the next Messiah, I am God's child, and, you know, stuff like that. And I thought Pokeballs at one point were in the wall, so I opened up the fucking wall there to the fiberglasses. I was disappointed because I was so sure that there were definitely Pokeballs behind that drywall. As I was laying there on a bed. And it's in the very same office. I get reminded every time I go in that office, the same spot of drywall. And I get reminded of those thoughts. Like, yeah, I went and I used to think that shit. I used to. You know, and it's almost every single time been as a direct result to those medications for me. So stimulants in general are not the best for me, and I would never recommend anybody that has had or ever had some form of psychosis to be on them. There is something to be said to weaning yourself off if you are addicted to amphetamines. Cold turkeying them is not fun. And is extremely, extremely hard to do, and will most likely actually fuck with your brain more. So be careful with that. And a good tapering off is bupropion, truthfully. Like, if you can do whatever, like, if you can get, like, if heroin people, opioid addicted people, could get methadone and then slowly wean themselves off and get onto Suboxone or whatever the hell it is. Why is it that methamphetamine users don't have the ability to get help by getting a specific amount in pill form and be told to wean it down? And you go, well, what about the abuse? I'm like, people abuse methadone too. The point is for those that will try to get help to have the opportunity to. Those who abuse it were going to abuse anything they could anyways. But those who aren't, now they have an opportunity to get better. That's the point. It's not to focus on the negatives. It's to focus on those that do get help and the positives of those people that get help. Because once they get help, they can become better to society. They're able to work. They're able to provide. They're able to do things. Getting help benefits everybody. It's not just them. It's everybody. So your whole spiel about how they're so bad if they're addicted to anything is bullshit. Because I can guarantee you have a habit too. Alright? Now their habit just so happens to be ruining their lives and they need help to no longer have it be a habit. More than likely, it's not just the substance that they're abusing, it's to cover up other problems that they have. That's just the nature of what it boils down to. And they do not deserve to feel humiliated and ashamed and condemnation for what is essentially a problem that was caused by pharmaceutical companies and misinformation thanks to people that are Christian, quite frankly. Because, well, we're not going to give them the right information, we're just going to tell them it's really scary. So when they do finally do it, because they fucking will if they want to, they don't have the right information to make it so they don't get fucking caught up. You know? It's very simple shit, and I don't understand the weird loopholes in your brain that you're jumping through to fucking like think that that's okay to think that way. Like to get rid of the humanity of this person, get rid of their thoughts, their feelings, the very idea of them even being a person. All because they take a substance you don't like and they have to take it. Otherwise, they're having an issue in their life. That can be so many things. A substance could even be switched out to an action. You have to do this particular action to feel good, right? And you have to do it every day, sometimes multiple times a day, right? It's like, where are you going with this? I'm like, there's levels. There's levels, okay? Not everything is dunt. It is this. It is a circle. There is levels. It is all connected together. It is not one or the other. Alright, it is an infinite amount of perspective and situations and so many other things that lead up to those points in the person's life. Not just their decisions, but other people's decisions and how that affects them to how they act, and so on and so on. It is extremely complicated, and people like to boil it down into simple terms. And unfortunately, life isn't simple, motherfucker. So yes. But I went on a rant, and I digress. So, yeah, I went off the deep end. I never should have let it get to the point that it did. I really shouldn't have. And truthfully, I would love to be able to start over again with everybody. And basically say, hi, my name is blank face, and I want to say I love you, and I care for you. But I'm trying to make the world a better place. Are you down for that? That means there are going to be some times that are bad and some times that are good. It means there's going to be police after you. There's going to be people that don't like the idea of the current power structure going away. There are so many people that are your enemies if you join in this fight. People that are good, honest people that are being led astray by unjust laws and people with robotic minds and hearts in false worship of immaterial possessions and so many other things. And I aim to try and break that cycle. It's going to be rough. And I'm probably going to fuck up again. I am. I know it. I don't know when. I'm going to try my best to make it not happen. But we're all human. We all make mistakes. Depending on how big of a mistake, well, that's up to you to decide. I can understand if you want to leave. Completely understand it. Go, leave. Just know that I love you. Know that I wish the best for you. I want everything good to happen in your life. And I hope that you can accept a good life. That's all I can really do. For those that want to join, I promise to try my best from here on out to no longer be abusing certain things or even attempt certain things. It's simply not a good idea. And I can only say that I've definitely learned my lesson in terms of how bad of an idea what I was doing was, you know. I still believe the 4-ACO-DMT and cannabis, along with the lion's mane mushroom and my other supplements, is a great combination. I am definitely waiting for that 4-ACO-DMT. I believe I could finally go back into some real health again. But I also understand that there's not much anybody can really do about this at this point. Nobody really has any pull or say involved in it. It's just too much governmental regulation, and if it got caught, it got caught. And things are slow in customs anyways, so I wonder if I could call there, maybe ask them if they know anything about it. Because I never received another email from the Indul shop, which is making me a little angry. That was a weird cat. Anyways. So, I would like to restart. I am not together with anybody. I'm still not really what's the best way to put it? I'm not okay. I mean, yeah. I'm an okay insofar as I can get up in the morning, I can start doing routines, but that's about it. I haven't gotten good enough to the point where I can even handle the idea of certain stressors. I had a good couple of weeks, I'm not gonna lie. You know, my ups and downs were around, but I was definitely in an elevated mood. But you know, that's neither here or there. I'm back to more or less baseline, and you know, I'm gonna work through it. I'm not sure what's gonna happen in the future. I don't really have. I mean, I kind of already came up with some plans. 2025 doesn't feel as bad as it used to. When on Friday, after I decided to discuss some things. So, yeah. Hopefully 2025 is a giant event that, while is possibly bad for some people, ultimately is the right path to take. It could be just a big old storm that shows everybody the true nature of reality. And I think that's what scares people. You know, it can change. The future can change. It is never set in stone. The past is, though, and should never change. And I have to say, like, I can't change the past. I really can't. I only want to try and do my best moving forward, because that is really all I can do. I can apologize more, and I probably will over time. But I can't make you accept the apology. I can't do any of that, and I don't really want to. Sincerity is what I'm going for right now, and I'm being very sincere as best as I can, you know. Obviously, there are things I either don't know or can't talk about. And that's kind of how that goes. People at the top do have information that needs to be regarded as safe. it's not a good idea for everybody to know everything, you know? So there's going to be a little bit of mysticism sometimes about how I come up with stuff and how things happen. But try and be rest assured that it's not because of me just wanting to try and force something. Or that's not the best way to put it, because technically some things we are forcing if we want to try and get things done. So I don't know. Like I'm what's the best way to put it? I'll try my best to not be manipulative, not be, you know, trying to play any games. I don't want to play any games anymore. As far as I can tell, nobody really wants to pull the trigger on killing me right now. And I'm okay with that. Gee, you're okay with living? Yeah, who would have thought? But as a result, I want to make good. You know, there are people that did things that I never should have asked them to do. And unfortunately, I've created terrible situations for individuals. Terrible situations. And I ultimately I feel hurt the whole world. I hurt you, I hurt the world, I hurt everything that ultimately I was trying to help. And yeah, I could say, oh, I was just beginning. You know, everybody has shitty beginnings. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't know, man. It just wasn't okay. And I just can't get myself to say it was okay. You know what I mean? Is there any major agenda today? No, this is more or less just me kind of trying to tell you how it is. Trying to tell you because as the days go by, I remember more and I'm able to think clearer and able to start, you know, becoming more normal. And, you know, I got lucky. I did. I set up a lot of good habits and things like that back in 2015, 2016 that once I had my brain damage and subsequent other damage compiled upon due to the overuse of certain things, and I'm pretty sure I was given LSA in that pie gum tree bark powder, which makes me believe that the LSA was actually what was damaging some of my nerves and everything, which was not good, obviously. Yeah. So, yeah, you know, like, as time goes on, I'll hopefully remember more and be able to get everybody on the same page. So that way, not everybody is trying to be a he said, she said blame game of epic drama proportions. You know, I don't want the drama to be continuing. Nobody likes drama. I shouldn't say that. There are people that like drama. I don't like those people usually. You know, like sometimes they're nice, but it's definitely not telling them shit. And I'm for sure not going to invest time in them because they create drama. And I've just, you know, like even as a young kid, like I couldn't, like after, just realized something. Yeah, like after I started my medication, I started withdrawing more. Once they got me onto the Clonidine, Ritalin, whatever, I started becoming less and less social. Didn't really actually perform much better at school. If anything, my grades got worse because my depression got worse, anxiety got worse, and then my inability to have attention, and then they got me more medication, and then I got constipated, so I started literally pooping my pants in the 3rd fucking grade, all the way up until I got into middle school, or, well, 6th grade. I was bullied relentlessly for that shit. I smelled like shit, you know? And I was an awkward kid, too. Still managed to have multiple girls think I was hot shit. Because I was one of those overly confident motherfuckers that like to run around and do dangerous shit. Which was cool. If you're a little kid, that's cool. My greatest hero was Evel Knievel when I was a kid, man. He was the coolest to me. You know? Fucking jump over Caesar's Palace. And then they were like, we're doing the Grand Canyon. Let's watch this. I was there for one of his really bad falls. And you don't really see stunt drivers much anymore. You know, like, there's no, like, giant TV thing. Like, you get some of it to happen for, like, you know, the high wire acts and whatnot. But it's just not the way it used to be, you know? And I don't know if that's good or bad, personally. Do you need kids to be thinking about, like, dangerous things and jumping off of stuff and trying to do all these stunts when in reality they're not stunts? They're actions that you're... yeah. I don't know. You know, that's up to them. That's up for debate. Personally, he gave me something to look forward to. Yeah. But yeah, the medication I was given definitely changed me. Thinking back on it, you know, it's just one of those things where I just became more and more withdrawn, less and less able to do anything, less homework that I did. I did less homework on Concerta and Quantity and whatever they were giving me than I ever did without, you know. When I didn't have it, like, I still sat down, but my parents would have to help me. But then once I got my Concerta, like, well, obviously you have the medication, so why do we need to help you? So yeah. And then, yeah, like, I would always get them being called to the school as a result of what I was doing. And of course they didn't want that, so more medication. And then, you know, yeah, it's kind of how that went. As a side effect of the medication was the constipation, although they'll say, it's because you were growing so fast and eating. I wasn't eating that much. I really wasn't. When I was a kid, it was just bad. It just wasn't a good idea. Yeah, you know, I would have been okay had there been one person in this house that was willing to step up and do the right thing and help and support and love. And that's not what happened. What I got was told by my older sister directly to my face, you should never get a girlfriend. All you're ever going to do is hurt her. You're a terrible human being. Hear from Andrea. Yeah, you're terrible. Why do you always be mean? You're a meanie. Actually, she didn't even say. There were worse words she used. And then Dad chimed in. And then Mom chimed in. And then everybody was chiming in. And I was just there. Standing right there. Right there. Try not to cry, really. Then I lashed out. Said other things towards them. I went in my room. And I just stared at the floor. Didn't cry. Just stared at the floor. By that point, I had a much harder time crying. I had several breakdowns growing up. where I literally couldn't do it anymore, and I just started crying. Like, curled up in a ball, balls out. Or bawling my eyes out. My mom, every single time, why are you crying? Get up off the ground. You're not fucking crying. You have nothing to be sorry about. You're obviously lying. You're doing this for attention. She basically says the same shit. She hasn't changed much since I was a kid. I would love to say that she isn't a terrible human being, but she acts nice. That's the thing. Narcissistic people don't like the idea of others not liking them. And so they will act nice towards random strangers and acquaintances. But eventually, when you really get to know the person, they become unbearable. Yeah. And I have high narcissistic traits. And so that's another reason why I don't like... I was reading that Stephen Fry 2-page thing from Shakespeare on Twitter while coming back, and it took a lot out of me to not be like, that's just fucking me. That's basically what I did to everybody else. I'm literally the worst human being in the world. And I deserve to die. It took a lot to not do the die part. I still felt everything else. Still don't deserve much, I feel. Not after everything. No, not after all this. But I don't want a pity party for me. Everybody has shit in their life, Like, it's just context is what I'm trying to provide. Like, I didn't become this way because I had a great childhood and then one day I snapped. There were many actions by many other individuals that played a role in how I turned out to be. And if I ever had one person, I might have been okay. But I'm here now, working on myself to be okay again. And that'll take time. I haven't been okay since I was a kid. So I don't really know what being okay even means for me. That's an odd thing to say. Most people know, at the very least, who they are and how they should feel. But if you didn't know, borderline personality people don't. Narcissistic and sociopathic people have a harder time. And I display a lot of traits in a lot of those areas, but I never quite go full bore in anything. Like, I never be to the point where I am that. Does that make sense? And I think that's down to my mom and my dad's genes, more or less. My dad has a rock-solid mind. He has very little mental troubles on his side of the family. But my mom, on the other hand, has many, many, many mental troubles. And yeah, while my dad might not necessarily be my dad, and my mom may or may not have cheated, I don't actually know because I don't have DNA proof. And I honestly don't want to take it because until that's the thing. I don't like ancestry and all this other stuff, mostly down to the fact that it's not 100% accurate. It is not to the degree that I would like it to be. Does that make sense? And you can end up getting weird results that don't necessarily match up. Plus, they sell that data too. You know what I mean? Which, for the most part, it's for scientific research. But unfortunately, most of it is white people. And the vast majority of new drugs we need are not for white people. So, yeah, you know. Anyways. Yeah, but I have a duty to everybody, I feel like. You know, I have a duty to set an example and to try and be a leader. And unfortunately, like, I'm failing at that because I honestly don't know what any of that means. You know, I'm not a terribly good person with that. It's something I fail at pretty often. You know, and I don't really want to fail. Failure sucks. I have a high perfectionist attitude about things, especially once I get off the deep end. But I've been learning to let go and accept failure as part of the journey. You know, if you don't, then the journey never happens. Does that make sense? For those, this is kind of advice to all men out there, but more or less myself too. And hey, women out there too. You will get rejected a lot, but you still gotta keep trying. You know, there are incels out there. Guys, sex isn't that important. You've been lied to and brainwashed into believing just terrible things about yourself. You have basically no self-worth. All thanks to what? Your dick going in a hole? Seems arbitrary to me. Don't you want to have your own personal growth, your own dreams? Don't you want to let go of that anger that holds you to this self-image that is so terrible that you will never be able to find love? Is that acceptable to you? Do you really want to live your life like that? To racists, do you never want to ever see another person's perspective? You know? Do you never want to grow? Why do you hate these people? What is your fear? Were you taught this? Is it just normal to you? What's your reasoning? You know? And you can't just ask a person that, because unfortunately, people that are in this mode, yeah, it is worth it. Yes, of course, we don't want diversity. Yes, 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 all these terrible things. Even if they don't know, you know. And there's a good person in there. They might treat you just terribly if you have the wrong skin, but they will be very nice if you happen to meet their criteria, right? So obviously they know what it means to be a good human being. That it's just that their ideas and their beliefs have been misappropriated and abused, and to the point where they see an enemy in everything other than what they may look like. They see trouble. They see problems. And that's unfortunate, you know. To the people who worship that almighty dollar, guess what? It doesn't mean anything once you're down in the ground, you know. I mean, do you really want to only be concerned about how much money you have, never worrying about your own personal health or happiness or anything really? Just only focus on the dollar. That's greed. That's not a way to live, is it? Does it make you happy? I mean, superficially you might be happy, but deep down, real deep down, beyond all the cocaine, you sober up for your 3 months. Get off everything. Look deep into yourself. Do you really feel the same? Once you get out of the rat race, once you get away from everything, does it not feel better? I almost think that some of them have lost their very empathy due to their situation. And again, prime candidates for psychedelics. One good trip sitter, one, trying to help them through and explain things, and I don't know. It's possible that they can, all of these people who have been led astray by these quite frankly just destructive things in our psyche, negative things that are only meant as tools for survival for when we are actually in survival, are being used every day as if they are commonplace. And that's terrible. It's just terrible. It's no way to live. It's a way to die. A way to die quick. Painless. Very painful. And quite frankly, just an almost completely worthless life. In my mind. Have you gained worth? Yeah, I got all this money. I have all these women, these drugs, all of this stuff. Look at all my stuff. 90 years old. See my beautiful stuff everywhere. Gold, filigree, women, hand and feet. I'm the luckiest man. Am I not? Well, you're not. You wasted away an entirely good life surrounding yourself in insignificance. And that's just sad. Oh. Darn. At least in my mind. So yeah. There's a lot that is going down. There's a lot behind the scenes. And there's no real speeches today, although technically I suppose you could have said I went on one. But yeah, I'm trying to be real with you. You didn't deserve to get hurt. It shouldn't have happened. I'm terribly sorry. It was just my fault. I made the poorest of decisions and ultimately hurt everybody. So, yeah. What you doing there, kitty? You wanna come up here? Is that yes or no? And you want me to loop him? Yeah, okay. Come on up here. Alright. Yeah. Alright, on to jollier stuff, shall we? Because we got a cat now. Meow meow. Kitty kitty. I might have to actually stop my journal here until I start talking again. Yeah, I'm just going to stop it here.